recently returned from visiting Poland and Israel with the International March of the Living. I spent 2 weeks on a journey with my soul and the souls of my people. I experienced the movement from cities and villages to cattle cars and then onto camps. I bore witness to the Holocaust with thousands of other Jewish teens from around the world. I visited the camps in Poland during the spring of the country. Like so many before me, I was struck by the beautiful countryside and clear skies above me. It was so strange to me that after the war, this country and its people stayed and continued on with their lives, but the Jewish people are still traumatized by the horrors of the Holocaust. The Nazis created an entire system of misconceptions of the enemy, the Jews. After being hoarded into cattle cars for days at a time, the Jewish people arrived at the camp scared, hungry, dirty, desperate, and carrying a suitcase with all their belongings. The Nazis told them that they were being relocated. They never said you are going to die. Your children will be murdered in front of you, or you will no longer be a human, but a number. When the Jewish people arrived at the camps, they were greeted by Jewish musicians playing playful melodies. The Nazis did this in order to keep up with the facade that there was nothing to worry about. But the unspoken words amongst the prisoners who arrived and the ones who were already at the camp penetrated the air. This was not a place for living, but a place for death, destruction, and pure evil. But none of my studies prepared me for what I was about to experience in Poland, the darkest time in the history of the world. When civilized men chose to destroy and annihilate an entire people, when an entire world turned away and let gas chambers be built, and let hair, and shoes, and gold, and clothes, and money, and souls be stripped away and burned, or be shot, or beaten to death, and starved. When was it that humanity could choose whether a child could live, or a mother could die? And why was I lucky? I was born after the war, after the state of Israel. I was a witness to the remnants of death and destruction, but I was not a prisoner. What I was so impressed about was the people who were with me on the March of the Living. They were rabbis, teachers, survivors, and teenagers from around the world. We would talk to each other about what we were witnessing, the experience of visiting all of the camps in Poland, how it felt to walk on the ashes of souls who never had a chance to finish living. We felt their finger marks in the gas chambers. We saw the reflections in the ash ponds, and we heard the cries of their souls during our discussion groups and whispering of their fears when the winds blew at the camps. Participate with us and Rabbi Lowy in the gas chamber.
But if you were a Jew who was going to come to a gas chamber, whether it was here or in Birkenau, this is what it looks like. Now, if I had the courage, which I don't, also because there are other people, I would herd out the ladies and tell the guys to take their clothes off. Because they didn't come in here with their clothes on. The Germans needed those clothes to go back to the Reich. I would herd the guys out and me and tell the ladies to take their clothes off. And then I would bring 1,000 people in here naked, frightened. I would bring them into this room, into this hell. And I would shove them in. I would push them in. As much as we can know what they went through, we don't have a clue. But just imagine it in your own mind. You're standing with no clothing on. little kids running around you. Think about it. Look where we are. The tzaddikim, the kadoshim that died here. These walls, these cold, cold walls. They would bring Jews in, they would close the doors, turn out the lights, and drop in the gas. See several places.
See the holes in the roof, right here, right above top. Right above Toba.
And people, in the process of trying to get fresh air, climb on top of each other and try to get higher and higher with the roof.
Keep your light on.
Yeah.
And then, yet worse. Because then, Jews were brought into this room after the room was somewhat aired out to pull the bodies apart. Because people don't die in nice, comfortable ways. They die all tangled up. Sometimes it would be their mother or their sister. Sometimes they would be the ones who had to tear apart the arms of their father. You want to talk about man's inhumanity to man? You want to talk about hell on earth? You want to talk about a plan? A factory of death? This is the factory of death. You're sitting in the center of it, and they numbered each person so they could figure out how many people can fit in here, how many can we kill, how fast can we burn the bodies, how much ash does it make, what are we going to do with it, how many clothes are we going to be able to ship, how much money are we going to make on the gold and the silver, and the hair. That's what was done here. That's what was done here.
One in carried bodies from over there into this room. And you see there are 8 oven doors here. Your body is placed in these metal frames and then slid into the hot ovens to be burned. Whatever was left from your soul, from your body, was then pushed into these ovens. And unfortunately, even 60 years later, people still have an attitude. It faced it. This is where it ended. Whatever was left of that gassed body, and God forbid a part should get stuck, they had all the replacement pieces right behind you. There are trapdoors on these ovens so they can empty out the ashes because it was piling up. There was no room for them to burn anymore. But the bodies were laid on these metal tracks. It looks like railroad tracks. And with these heavy drums, you were pushed in. Shalom Aleichem. Da 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 da. Da da da. Okay? C'est la vie.
We came here to bear witness. This is unacceptable. Bearing witness is what we're doing. Let's join.
Since 1988, Jewish youth and Holocaust survivors from around the world have been traveling to Poland and Israel to participate in the March of the Living. The culmination of this pilgrimage is a silent 3-kilometer march from Auschwitz to Birkenau, which takes place on Holocaust Remembrance Day.
רישוש של המים ורק השמיים תפילת האדם איני
When we arrived in Birkenau, my jaw dropped. The camp was so massive and so planned. From all my research, from reading books, watching movies, and hearing stories, I never imagined a camp so big. It stretched for miles. They said it was as big as 500 football stadiums. We marched on the train tracks, where thousands upon thousands of people were brought in. We were on the platform where Dr. Mengele did the selection, pointing his finger, right, left, left, right, right, left. And the prisoners did not know which way was safe, or which way they were going to be murdered.
רישוש של המים ורק השמיים תפילת האדם יסגדל ויסקדש שמי רבו נולמוד יברוך יראוסי וימליך מלכוסי בחיי חוינו וימי חוינו בחיי דכל בייס ישראל בגולו בזמן קורי ואמרו אמן יהי
I would like to close with a poem that I wrote while at Auschwitz. Hear me. Standing here under the gate that says work will set you free, I am small, like the pebbles at my feet. I see the footprints of thousands who walked here before me. How am I supposed to feel in my clothes and my sneakers, on marks of modernity and America? It is quiet. I hear nothing. But the wind blows, and I close my eyes. I see them. I see them all. The children of the Shoah. I hear the dogs barking. I feel the terror, the screams, the pain, the fear. Chills run down my spine. Don't worry, I'll tell them. Your story will survive. I'll be your voice. I will not let them forget you. The world was silent when 12.5 million people were murdered during the Holocaust. 6 million Jews, 1.5 million children, and 5 million others. Unfortunately, genocide continues today. Cambodia, Rwanda, and Darfur. Please do not sit back in silence anymore.